Neal has to win at least 7 games, and right now it's not looking like he can. But as you brought up earlier, the big problem with Neal right now is he has a buyout, which means that when he gets fired, he is due 100% of the salary that he has left on his contract
Yeah.
going forward. So, what do you think of that? And are you confident that the donors can get pissed off enough to get that money together to do what needs to be done?
I think it depends on how the season plays out. I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Neal Brown has a $20 million buyout if he gets fired today. Um, let's just be honest. WVU is not going to pay $20 million. Even at the end of the season, though, it's $16.7 million to fire him after this season, even if we crash and burn. Now, I mean, if we win 2-3 games all year, I think maybe there is enough support to build up money to do that. But I mean, that's still a ton of money. And so that kind of means we're probably stuck with them no matter how this season turns out. Like I said, unless it's like 2 wins, which I'm not sure I see that. But this also brings up Shane Lyons. Shane Lyons gave Neal Brown a contract extension after 2 seasons at WVU. And at that time, Neal Brown was just 11-11 here. And he was coming off of a Liberty Bowl victory over Army. But that wasn't a slam dunk by any means. If you remember, the Mountaineers barely walked away with a win that day. Army's quarterback had a huge day, which how often do you say that? And even at the time, people questioned the decision. Now, people weren't questioning it as much because, we were coming off a bowl victory. But now people are really digging into all the terms in that contract, and they're really questioning what Shane Lyons saw to extend him. It made no sense to me. Coach Brown's original contract would have expired at the end of the 2024 season. That's still 2 seasons away. That seems like a decent deal. Why was he in such a hurry to extend him? Now it runs to the 2026 season. And my real question is, has Shane Lyons ever had to answer for this? I know he had quotes when this all went down that he liked the direction the program was heading in, coming off a bowl win. But he really put WVU in a weird spot now where, I mean, essentially we can't even fire Neal Brown if we want to, not anytime soon at least. And so I don't know. I feel like he really dropped the ball on that extension. Of course, hindsight's 2020, but even looking at the facts at the time, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, see, I think, if push came to shove, we could get the money to buy him out. I have a hard time thinking. I mean, there has to be some sort of oversight to Lions, right? I mean, that's kind of my thought on it, is that the donors, before he gave that contract out, had to say, I know this is a ridiculous buyout. I know this is a lot of money, but if things go down, we'll figure out a way to buy him out. And it may also come along with the lines of, who they think they can get lined up. I know, the big rumor is that Jimbo Fisher wants to return home eventually. And, who knows what type of connections donors for WVU have to there and what's going on with Texas A&M with that upset. If their season goes south, it could be the perfect storm where donors, all come together and say, you know what, I don't care. I'll pay $16.5 million. Then we'll go out there and pay Jimbo whatever the heck he wants to come home. That could get people fired up, but it's really going to come down to, I think, like you said, that the money is going to be harder to come by if it's a coin flip on whether Neal has turned it around or not. I mean, think about if we go 6-6, we somehow turn it around, we go 6-6, we go to a bowl game, we lose a close one. It's a tough game, or we get a halfway decent opponent, or we do win, but it's a close win. What are people going to do then? Because, that money does become more of a factor then, where I think if Neal Brown wins 5 or less games, it becomes a lot easier of a decision, especially after the past few years where, outside of a 6-4 season, he just hasn't done anything. So I think the money is going to become more of a problem the more Neal Brown wins. But like you said, it's really going to depend on how he performs against other teams. And he does kind of coach up to the competition. So maybe we go into Texas and we somehow pull off an upset. I mean, I'm not confident that's going to happen, but something like that could really throw a wrench into things. I mean, Baylor comes to Morgantown, maybe he gets them fired up for that. But I think the real fear is that, what's the turnaround in the program? How do you get the players to buy back in after that loss? I mean, what do you say to them? And can Neal Brown do that?